Welcome to the Stonefell site. We are Total Fire Solutions and have helped in the design and firefighting strategy for the mobile full-surface fire protection system. We would like to start this training session with a brief overview of the equipment that we will be using, and then we will go into descriptions on how to bring it all together in an organized fashion. The basic principle of this mobile system is to draw water out of the firewater pond using a portable pump, inject foam concentrate into it, and send it to the large foam chambers on the tank. To perform this task, we have a few key pieces of mobile equipment. The first is the Hale portable fire pump. This high-pressure centrifugal pump is what we will use to draw water from the firewater pond and send it towards the tank. It is a 2,000 gallon per minute at 150 psi rated pump and contains the hard suction hose required to make the connection to the firewater pond. The second piece of equipment is the foam injection trailer. This trailer is what we will use to inject the foam concentrate into the water stream that is heading towards the tank. It is made up of a diesel engine that powers a positive displacement rotary vane pump. It is equipped with multiple digital flow meters that ensure precise injection of the foam at the prescribed 3%. This trailer also holds the hoses needed to connect the system together. The third key element is the foam concentrate. 16 totes of 3% Ansilite AFFF are required to perform a full surface firefighting application to this tank. These totes are kept in a heated storage and must be moved to the location in the event of a fire. Manifolds and extra hoses provide flexibility in the logistics of moving and placing all the totes in the area. So now that we have covered the equipment that we will be using, let's take a quick look at how everything works together and where the equipment should be placed. Looking at the site map, there are a few key places that we need everyone to be aware of. The first area is the firewater pond, and more precisely, the suction header at the edge of the pond. This is where we will park the fire pump and make the connection between the suction header and the pump using the onboard twin 6-inch hard suction hoses. This is our water supply. Once the fire pump is in place, we can focus on the second area, the dry barrel lateral foam piping, or what I'll call the foam solution header. It is located directly east of the foam building and is where we make the foam injection pump connection to the piping that leads to the tank foam chambers. The procedure calls for us to drive the foam pump to the fire pump location, connect the two high volume fire hoses, and then drive the trailer to the foam solution header area to make the connection. This is also the area where we will need to stage the 16 totes of foam. Now that you know what the system looks like and the equipment that's involved, let's go through the procedure for operating the fire pump and the foam injection trailer.
Okay, so with the fire pump, once it's connected to hard suction, you'll just come to the control panel, turn the key to on, you get lights. You'll just turn the key to start. Once the engine is started, the pump is turning. At that point, you're going to need to draw suction from the pond, and to do that, you're basically going to pull on one or two or both of these primers at the same time. You'll have to hold them probably for a minute to 2 minutes until such time that you'll see the water coming through the suction hoses at the side of the pond there. If there's air bubble, there should be some movement there on that hard suction, so if there's any air leaks, you can stop priming and try and find where your air is coming from. Some of the potential air leaks can be from the hard suction hose connection points at the header. There can also be the drains and discharges on the fire pump itself. So you've got pump drains down below here, one there, and then also on these back discharge valves, you'll see these are all drains here. So you can make sure that all of the ports are in a closed position, otherwise you won't be able to pull a vacuum. So once you've got prime, you will see some pressure on your discharge gauge, probably in the 25 psi range at idle. At that point, you can start to rev up your engine. So this button here, this button will turn, you'll see it'll be in pressure mode when it first starts. So if you want to increase the RPM, you can press the mode and then press the increase button, which will increase the RPMs. As the RPMs go up, then your discharge pressure will also go up. At that point then, this is your main discharge valve for the 5-inch hoses that are running towards the foam pump. So you'll just slowly crank that open, and then just keep an eye on your gauges to make sure that you don't lose prime or whatever. But if you've got a good seal, you should be able to just slowly open that up and fill those lines. And then once you've got the lines full to the foam pump, you'll communicate with the operator there, and you may have to increase your RPM to match the flows at the foam injection pump. It's looking for 2,300 gallons a minute of water from this pump, so you probably have to, that's running this thing about 3/4 capacity. This is the back of the foam injection trailer. We'll grab those 2 yellow 5-inch high vol hoses and make the connection to the fire pump. Once that connection is made, we'll drive down the road to the header at the foam building. You can see it just at the edge of this road there. As the truck's driving away, just be cautious to go slow, to have a nice, allow the hose to nicely pay off the back of the trailer. There's the inlet headers for the full surface fire protection system. We'll be making connection to either 2 of those, it doesn't matter which 2, from the foam trailer. Okay, on the rental trailer here, we're on the passenger side. This is the inlet side for the water and for the foam suction. So coming from the fire pump, we pull up, drag the hose over here. This is the inlet from the fire pump. Make these high vol connections here. You can see they're labeled water inlets. The foam itself, we will obviously have way more totes than this, but you're looking at having 16 totes of foam positioned along the roadway here. You can see we've got a manifold here. We'll have a couple of these, and basically they just give you some flexibility with placing totes. We've got lots of extra hoses, so you'll make connections to full totes, and then as they empty, you shut the valves off, make another connection to a full tote, remove the empties, and so on and so forth. So that's coming back to the suction side of the foam pump here. Again, it's labeled with red arrow, foam inlet, and then the valve is normally in the open position. So once the totes are connected, you will open the valves. You'll open this valve on the trailer, and once the water's flowing, it's ready to inject foam. On the water side, now that we're connected here, coming in, we'll open the wafer valves, front and back on the discharge side there, and wait for water from the fire pump. Now that we've got everything hooked up, this is the discharge side of the foam injection pump. Fire water will be coming from the fire pump through this 6-inch header here. Foam will be injected, and then it goes over to the inlets to the tank there. Once the fire water's here, we're ready to fire this thing up. First thing we're going to do is turn on the master power switch. You'll get some power to the gauges. Everything should zero off. For cold weather starts, we're going to, you can basically use the glow plug, hold it for 5 to 15 seconds, back to run, and then start. Once the engine starts, right away the foam pump will begin turning. As long as there's water movement, the foam will be injected, and you'll get a flow reading on this gauge here, foam flow. So once this thing is running, basically we'll open up this valve here. We'll have water flowing now to the tank. We're looking for 2,300 gallons per minute on this flow meter here. So the operator here is going to have to coordinate with the fire pump operator and just tell them to increase RPMs in order to get the flows up to where they need to be here. Once this operator sees 2,300 gallons per minute flowing water, then he's basically going to start the engine, or if the engine's already running, just dial up the throttle and get this flow meter so that it's reading 70 gallons per minute. This should be monitored at the same time. You should always see around 2,300 gallons per minute water flow and 70 gallons per minute on the foam flow meter. This will continue until the 16 totes are empty.
This concludes the online training for the full surface fire protection system at Stonefell. We hope you have found this training educational. We also encourage you to review the step-by-step procedure for responding to a full service emergency located in your site ERP. If you have any questions or concerns, we are always available by phone or via our website at www.totalfiresolutions.ca.